Listen. We've all heard about big game hunters, all right, marching through the jungles of Africa. Well, the men you're going to meet tonight, gang, make these guys look like wimps, like they're hunting inchworms in Hawaii. Tonight, we meet the shrewdest, slickest, boldest hunters who stalk their prey in the jungles of Harlem, the slums of Watts, south side of Chicago. Plus, we'll meet some folks who say bounty hunters are the real wild animals, and they're the ones who should be locked up. Bounty hunters, protectors of the law, or violent vigilantes. I want them on my side, pal. Join us. Let me introduce you to some of the folks we got at home base with us. And gentlemen at loudmouth number one. Let's start with David Schultz, who is a bounty hunter. Doctor, how are you?
I'm great.
Nice to see you, pal.
Nice to see you.
I got Stan Rifkin, a bounty hunter. I guess Stan of over 30 years now, huh?
33, right?
33 years. Nice to see you too, pal. What's that hat say on it?
It just got a white head.
Those teeth from guys that you captured up there?
Yeah.
And at home base loudmouth number one, Job Matuso. Is that right, Job? Job is with the Gandhi Peace Center.
And Jailhouse Anonymous.
Yeah. Let's start with Stan. Stan, you've been a bounty hunter for over 30 years now. We just established 33. I understand Robert De Niro rode around with you for his latest role as a bounty hunter in Midnight Run. Who hires you, and who the hell are you tracking down?
I'm hired by the bail bondsman or the bail bondsman's insurance companies, and I go after anybody from spitting in the street to murder.
So a bail bond guy goes in, the court says $5,000 bond. Bail bondsman is on the nose for $5,000.
Right.
Actually about $4,500 because he got $500 cash, 10% down usually, right?
Well, that's in all over the United States, except New York.
He's on the tip for $5,000,
Right.
right? So he doesn't want to lose that money. You go out looking for him. How much bail does a guy have to have jumped before you go looking for him? The reason I ask that, you got $5,000 bail. Obviously, you're not going to travel to Frankfurt, Germany to go after some guy that's going to cost you more to go get him. What are you talking about?
Well, now, I still go after anything practically. I have to take the good with the bad. I mean, to keep the bondsman happy.
Well, my wife accused me of the same damn thing. I got a lot of trouble for that. I want you to take, what I want you to do, where's the monitor? Some of the folks in the studio see this, all of you folks at home. Let's see exactly what you do and how you do it. Let's see it on the monitor, gang, all right?
Please pardon the technical difficulties. This show is from years ago. Welcome back to Guardian of Chaos, the YouTube channel, here for Chaos Corner, Bounty Hunters. And if you guys go to the front of my YouTube page, you'll see I was also a bounty hunter who worked for Dr. D. David Schultz. I'll say that to say this, because I tell it like it is. Don't you dare miss it.
Dr. D, let me come to you, sir. I guess you have the most difficult job of any hunter because you're often tracking an often dangerous species of criminal. As a bounty hunter, what type of force are you able to use when you bring someone in?
I have the right to use whatever force necessary to obtain an individual which has escaped from the law and which I'm after.
All right, what do you say? Guy gives you a hard time, smacks you in the face, what do you do?
Well, nobody will tell him not to do it again. He'll know better next time. I'll throw him to the ground, I'll cuff him, and throw him in the car and take him to jail.
Guy comes at you with a knife, what do you do?
I'll shoot him.
Joe, you call these bounty hunters the real villains, all right? How can you compare David and Stan here to the human waste that they hunt down? I mean, They hunt them down, drag them back to justice.
I have no objection to them finding somebody, but what I object to is no accountability, no licensing. They can do anything they want. And somewhere along the line, the president couldn't do what he wanted in Iran Gate. We've got to have accountability. If there's no licensing...
Who are they accountable to? The Pablum Pukers who are going to let them go again?
No, for instance, I'm not arguing that point with you. There's an association of bail bond enforcers in the United States. Why doesn't that association set up a licensing for itself and govern itself? Keep the government out of it. I'm not saying the government has to be the accountable agency, but I'm saying somebody has to set up accountability. Let's say, David, you're doing fine, and you respect the law, and you respect somebody's rights. Sure, if somebody pulls a knife, you're going to shoot him. Nobody's going to argue with you on that. But we're talking about the guy who just got out of jail, who's going to work for some sleazy bail bondsman down the street, who doesn't give a hoot about anybody. And I know of cases where they've picked up women on minor violations and left small children in the house unattended. Neighbors found them 2 days
You're
later.
not talking about a bounty hunter. You're talking about a sleazy piece of garbage that should have never been let out of jail in the first place. You're not talking about Stan Rifkin or Dr. D. David Schultz. We don't do that.
We're not talking about you, but
That's
we're talking
right.
about bounty hunters. Let's say you're
Well, we're
okay,
bounty-
you're
what do you think
accountable.
we are?
Wait a minute.
What do you
You're
think
okay
we
and
are?
you're accountable. But how about that sleazy guy down the street that some bail bondsman in Joplin or somewhere else in the country hires and does something which isn't accountable?
How many times did that ever happen?
It happens a lot.
Tell me a time. Name me a time.
It happens a lot.
Name me one time.
One time.
Where do you get your statistics? What are you, from the Mahatma Gandhi Foundation? Who are you? I mean, where do you come? What are you against?
Job, just give
What,
us...
did they do it to you?
I just want to let
Did they do it to you?
What?
Did they do it to you?
No, they've done it to clients of ours in Jailhouse Anonymous. That's it.
They've done it to Give me one case.
Who said they had done it, Job? Was it the client who said they had done it that way?
No, the client didn't say it. I won't argue that point with
Can
you.
you tell us who said they did
And I
it?
can't talk about who I get my sources from.
Just doesn't seem to me. I'm sure.
Let's just string everybody up and end it all. But we still let's do it. We gotta have accountability. We gotta have accountability. When somebody walks into your house and is not accountable, watch out. Oh, it happened to me, and you freak out. Come on, get lost.
Let me give you the bounty hunter law, right? Let me give you the bounty hunter law. Professional bondsmen in the United States enjoy extraordinary powers to capture and use force to compel the return of a bail jumper, all right? Now, when a guy jumps bail, or a lady, chances are they're guilty as hell of the crime of which they're accused. As we know,
Oh, just a minute, wait a minute. I want to correct something there. When he jumps bail and he didn't come in, he may be guilty or he may not be guilty. That son of a gun is guilty of failure to appear. And that is what we go after, failure to appear. We don't go after him for the original charges. When he has a failure to appear, we go after him for that charge only. And he is guilty.
So like the law
he
says,
is guilty when we
like
go
the
get
law
him.
says, you return the bail jumper, and you may go not only into the state where the bail was granted, but in other states as well without resort to public authorities, either to the police to effect arrest or the appropriate state officials to bring about extradition. Am I correct?
That's right.
Now, most of the time,
But
you
it's
guys...
that second
Wait
bit,
a
the
second.
extradition.
Wait a second, Mahatma.
Okay.
Most of the time, these guys, the professionals like these gentlemen, do let the police know you're in town, don't you?
Yes, we do. Yes.
And let me tell you something. I used to work for CRS, the Justice Department. Familiar with that?
Yes.
And I had to go undercover. And I had to go into towns to take care of insurrections that were about to take place, all right? Twice, I reported to the police to let them know. Twice, those police were in cahoots with the people I were after and damn near got killed, all right?
And I know
So it makes you nervous.
police agencies usually will tell bounty hunters to get lost. They don't want to get
Yeah, no,
involved.
you're a liar there. They never told me to get lost because they respect me. They respect me because I have them.
Tell you what we're going to do. Next, I'd like you to meet a private eye who says Schultz and Rifkin will probably end up in jail themselves like the guys they stalked. How do you meet this wimp?
children are the future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty.
Now, fans of Guardian of Chaos, a YouTube channel, let me explain while we're at commercial right now, because we are at commercial. When I worked for Dr. D. David Schultz for this one particular case, he sent me and my partner all the way down to Tennessee to grab a bail jumper who beat someone to death with a baseball bat. We stayed outside his house for 5 days to wait for him to come home. And the first thing we did when we got into Tennessee and we got into that town was notify the local authorities and the police to let them know that we were in town to get a bail jumper. And they couldn't be more cooperative. They told us to be safe, and they even came and checked up on us. So he's telling the truth. He's stating the facts. So as you watch this show, I want you to remember who I was, who I am, and what I did. Dr. D. David Schultz and Stanley Rifkin are telling the truth. Now, since then, here in 2024, the laws have changed. Bail enforcement agents now, and there's certain regulations. So there is some truth to the other side as well. But you do notify the local authorities, and they do cooperate with you if needed. So I want you to remember that, because I tell it like it is. Sit back and relax and enjoy Bounty Hunters.
A movie on CBS, Ted Koppel on ABC, and we're gonna break some rules.
I apologize about the damn commercials.
11:30 starting next week.
If we can improve our children's education,
Nobody wants to see commercials. But I can't thank you guys enough for being here. Drop an elbow on that like button. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I love bringing you this historic, priceless, classic footage. And if you don't like my voiceovers or my commentary, then change the fucking channel. I apologize for cussing.
Why do you want to kill this guy?
Don't you read the papers, knucklehead? Jesus Christ! You guys are the dumbest bounty hunters I've ever seen!
This was a fantastic movie, Midnight Run, if you get a chance to see it.
It didn't happen at the OK Corral. It didn't happen in those days. It's happening right now. You really need some with the rise in crime. We got John Perry with us. He's a private investigator. He is at Loudmouth number 2. John, you've heard how our esteemed bounty hunters operate, the leeway that they have in going after bail jumpers. I understand you oppose their tactics. Why?
Well, I oppose the tactics only because there's no supervision with these guys. The requirements, first of all, to be a bounty hunter, you got to be over 20 years old. Am I correct?
What I look like, 15, 16?
Okay.
What I look like, a kid? Do I need supervision to go on the street?
Well, no, but I mean,
Do they need supervision when they go out here and rape somebody 25, 30 times?
What I'm trying to get across to you is 20 years old. That's all you're going to be. You can be an escapee from a psycho ward. If you're over 20 years old, you can go out and become a bounty hunter. You're a bounty... Well, wait a minute. How many of you people have been on bail? Huh? Don't tell me none of you people have been on bail. You want some psycho like this coming after you? I have brought people back without the bounty. I'm
You
not
ever
going
seen
out to
the
the
original
bounty.
Munsters? You look a lot like that guy. No, I know the Addams family. Addams family.
Here's an example. We got a bounty hunter up in Boston. I don't know either, but there was an article about him recently in the Boston Globe. This guy is a convicted felon, not allowed to carry a weapon. So what does he do? He goes out and he hires a guy who's got a license to carry, and now they're out bounty hunting. Now there's a pair that beats a full house. There's two up there. Right? The
What
guy
are you
is a convicted
bitching about?
felon.
What are you bitching about? A guy takes a criminal out to catch a criminal, and he got a guy that's
Well, who
legally
set you up
carrying
as
a
judge
gun.
and jury?
What?
Who set you up as judge and jury?
Well, I didn't say I was a judge.
Well, you sure yourself come
I'm
right
saying
up
I'm
there.
I'll go and get him.
Is that your uniform?
How long have you been?
Is that your
How long
uniform?
have you been a PI?
11 years.
11 years.
A
Your name
narcotics
is
cop
what,
before
Mr.
that.
Cherry?
A narcotics
You're
cop before
Mr.
that.
Cherry. Let me tell you
Is that your uniform?
Your license.
Is that your
You know what you
uniform?
are? You're a licensed peeping Tom.
It's chaos on Morton Downey.
I have right now 3 men who are accused of murder who are walking because they didn't do it because they hired me. My guy in the Big Dan case walked because I proved he was innocent. Jim Craig, the hockey player, is on the street because I proved him innocent. You want to talk about
Oh,
people,
big
John?
deal.
Talk
Big
about
deal.
yourself.
Big deal. Who cares?
I've been
Who
a
cares?
PI for 33
Is
years.
that your uniform?
This is my
I rest
uniform.
my case.
You know where my diploma comes from? The School of Hard Knocks.
Well, let me tell you. Let me tell you.
And
Let
I
me
got a
tell you.
license. Where's your license?
If I knew you were coming, I'd have baked the cake. I would have brought it.
You asked if that is his uniform, right?
I rest my
Then you said you rest your case. Wear those duds down in Amarillo, Texas, pal, and they'll paddle your ass all the way to the corral. Let me come back here. Come back here. Stand.
Hey, Mark, the only thing they got in Amarillo is helium gas. Gas, friend.
Let me ask Stan, are you guys so trigger happy that like every other government bureaucracy, you need to be licensed, registered, and take 4 exams to become eligible, and make sure those exams go through another bureaucracy, which is run by punks like him, to make sure that no one ever gets caught, and all the business goes to the PIs, and then
How
you stand
about
around
the
and see says,
Association of
and look in the
Bounty
windows.
How about your
You brought up something about extradition before?
No, well, let's talk about why don't you set up your own organization, keep the government out of it, shut up, keep the government out of it, and clean up your own act. Let's say you're okay, we're not accusing you of anything, but you can't tell me that every bounty hunter in America is legit and doesn't run the
There's
law.
rotten apple. Hey,
So why don't you
they
organize
nearly
yourselves and
impeached
clean
the
up your act?
president, didn't they?
Why don't you clean up your act? Clean up your act, that's all. You
What do you
do it,
mean?
not the
Don't
government.
point at me and say clean up my act. I never made a false arrest. I never did
How can you
anything
make an
wrong.
arrest, period? You don't have the authority.
What are you talking about?
Everyone has the authority. Everyone has the authority.
Hey, Mark, let me answer.
All you do is looking for legalized, justified loan sharks.
I don't need and they don't need a warrant to make a citizen's arrest. And if you had something more than a little piece of PI, you'd know that.
Hey, Mark, let me respond to him, Mark. Can I respond to him?
I can't hear you.
You said we're not allowed to make an arrest? You better, as a private eye boy, I wouldn't come to you to find out if I was jaywalking to defend me in a jaywalking ticket. We can't make a legal arrest. When bail is given,
How many big
the
timers do you
principal
have?
is
How many
regarded
big
as a
timers do you go after?
continuance of the
How
original
many big
imprisonment.
timers do you go after?
How
Big
many
timers.
what?
How many big timers do you go after that jump
Big
bail?
timers?
Yeah.
They're all big
Name
timers.
them. Name them.
You haven't done your homework. Do you want me to quote you the law that we can do it
The
without
law hasn't been changed
extradition?
since late 1970.
Don't change the subject.
The
You
law
want me
has
to-
not been changed since the 1700s.
In 1984, October 14th, 1980, October. See how he shakes hands? The old private eye shake this way where the money comes from.
That's your choice.
You know when the law was, that was an 1892 decision. In 1984.
1872, Taylor and Tainter.
Oh, thank you, Your Honor. 1872. Do you know the law? That was a decision. It wasn't a law.
1872.
That was a decision. It was written into law October 14th, 1984
When was the amendment?
by Edwin Meese, the Attorney General. Before it was
I'm sure
only
it's got a t-shirt.
3 paragraphs. Now it's about 5 or 6 pages.
So Sleaze Meese gave us the law. Thank you.
Okay, now was that an amendment?
Let me ask you a question. Wait a second. Wait a second. Yeah, let me ask you a question. Have you ever been arrested?
Yes, I have, and I've served time.
Have you ever been in jail?
Yes, I've been in prison.
Have you ever served time?
5 years.
5 years.
Yes, sir.
That's 5 years more than the guy you call Sleaze Meese Al.
That's okay.
Tell you what. Next, we're going to meet a convicted killer who says he dares any bounty hunter to come after him. He's up next.
All right, fans, welcome back to Guardian of Chaos, the YouTube channel. It's me. It's the GOC. Let me lower the volume so we're not distracted here at Chaos Corner. We're watching the Morton Downey show, Bounty Hunters with Dr. D. David Schultz, Stanley Rifkin. As I said earlier, if you were paying attention, I'm a former bounty hunter myself who worked under the guidance of a couple of different high courts, county jails, back when it was legal, back in the early, middle, and late 90s. Worked for Dr. D. David Schultz. I told you a brief story. Been to Brooklyn, Bronx crack houses, all the way down to Tennessee, all over this country, chasing the criminals. Now, what they've done here in 2024 and over the last few years and changing the bail enforcement laws is criminal. Cashless bail, so on and so forth, getting rid of it all. They have ruined the bounty hunter system. They have ruined the bail enforcement system, and that's why you see so many criminals getting out onto the streets to commit more crime. So I apologize for interrupting, but it's only fucking commercials here, and I apologize for the cussing. But sit back and learn something. You're here in the time machine on Chaos Corner. We're going back on this show well over 2 decades, perhaps 3 decades. So pay attention, do your due diligence. I was also a private investigator, so I could speak to everything that's going on this show. So I hope you appreciate it. Again, I apologize for these commercials, but I am here on the Vault of Chaos Chronicles from all the different tapes that I have here on Chaos Chronicles. So I want you guys to really, and gals, to pay attention to what's going on and do your research of the law and the United States Constitution, and especially what's going on in the bail enforcement industry and how they've ruined it, and why so many criminals are back on the streets. So pay attention. Thanks for being here. And let's hope there's no algorithms or strikes here for the music and copyrights. I don't own this footage, but I am a part of it. Let me turn the volume back up for Morton.
Gino Gentile, convicted of negligent homicide and manslaughter. Spent 7 months in jail for beating a guy to death. Couldn't handle it. Then I spent 2.5 years in jail for manslaughter and all this stuff. Gino, let me ask you a question, pal. You spent time in jail for both those charges.
Right.
And at times you've been a fugitive. How would you respond if a bounty hunter came after you?
First of all, if any bounty hunter would come after me, and they couldn't come after me. First of all, if I saw them come at the door, they have their, whatever they had. Hey, I'm going to jump on them. I will die there. I was there for 2 years. I was on the run. And I never seen a bounty hunter. Matter of fact, I never even seen a cop.
Look at me. Look at me. I'm Dr. D. David Schultz. Come to New Haven. Come to New Haven, Connecticut. and jaywalk, and get put in jail, and this man right over here, Mr. Paul Jacobs, will bond you out, and then you'll have a failure to appear. And you will have the first. I will come and get you.
I know.
And I will take you.
But I'm telling you, I will stand my ground because first of all, I'm not a sleazy rape artist.
No. Hey, I understand what you're saying. If you want to stand there, you're the one. You decide if you want me to use excessive force. Because you will go to jail when I come at you. No. Hey, okay. I understand. Why
Wait a
don't you
second,
shut up?
John.
I don't want to talk to you. Because you're sitting in the eye of yourself. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm talking with a man here who's got 5 times more sense than you. You shouldn't even be out here. You ought to pack your bags and go home. I understand.
Well, I wanted to know, I didn't go out and beat the guy who was going to stab me. So let's not think that I was running on the run because he had no other choice. I was bigger than him. So listen, I'm just saying I will stand my ground. I will not be the person to have to, and I didn't even run and hide just to go to show you, right? The FBI wanted me. I was on every newspaper from the New York Times to the LA Times. You know, I was and they never. And I walked the streets. I worked in a movie theater. Yeah. So I just want you to know.
Well, he was assistant producer of the TV show Wanted, Dead or Alive.
Hey, I understand what you're saying. I know where you're coming from. And like I say, all you got to do is come to New Haven. And I know some people in New Haven, Connecticut Police Department, they will help me. If they don't, Hamlin Police Department, the street crime unit, will come with me to get you if I can't get you by myself. And if they can't get you, we'll call out some more street crime units. We will take your ass to jail.
That's right, in the shadows of Titan Towers, here at the home of Chaos Corner. That's what we do.
I also got sucked into this.
No, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
See, David, you're being legit. You're being legit. Let's get this straight. Because we're talking not about you who would go out and get the police to say we got to pick this guy up and who will work through the establishment. We're talking about some clown who doesn't.
Well, hold it. Let me clarify something here. That you're saying that I'm legit, and you're saying Mr. Stan here is legit.
If you're
we're bounty hunters, right? You're behind us, right? What the hell are you doing out here knocking us here? Knock them sons of bitches out there.
Let me go to Stan. Let me go to Stan while this guy reads up on what the hell the law is.
I want to put on my disguise.
All I can say is if you ever jump bail, and
I don't want the city
if you
to
ever jump bail and I have to come to get you, you can sell your soul to God because your ass belongs to me.
Yeah, right. I'm not even questioning that. Hey, look, from man to man, believe me, I know you'll be there, okay? I'm not questioning. I'm just saying, I'm there to...
Hey, we understand exactly what you're saying. And the reason you're saying what you're saying, the police didn't bother you, or these other organizations didn't bother you, because people like this son of a bitch standing right here, in my opinion, looking right here, they took their rights away. The police don't have time to sit outside your door. They don't have time to sit there and wait for you. See, I do. I've got all the time in the world, and so does he.
I know.
Hey, and another thing, hold it. This guy right here, people like him is the reason our police departments now are so underpaid, and the reason people like you can walk the streets just like you said, nobody's going to bother you, because they ain't got no money to do nothing with, because these people like him and people like you. Why are you picking on me? Why am I picking on you?
I agree, you know? I did have my lightning through.
We'll be back in just a minute with questions from the audience.
All right, fans of Chaos Corner, we're going back to commercial. I apologize for the interruptions, but we want to get the whole show I want you to go back in the time machine here on Chaos Corner to see how it was back in the day, to where most of you folks were not even alive. This show is from 30 years ago. So I just want you guys to soak up these commercials, to see how the times have changed, how the laws have changed. You see what's going on here in 2024 with all the riots and protests and what happened in 2020 and so on and so forth, and how the criminals now are running the streets, ruining the streets, and there's a lot more coming. Let me continue to lower the volume so you guys could hear me, whether you want to or not. And if you don't like it, change the channel, as I said. I give it to you one man, unique, unedited, unscripted, raw dog for you, the fans, to tell you the truth, to expose the bullshit that's going on here in 2024. And for perhaps the last 2 decades, and how much the country has changed and the laws have changed and what we're headed for into this summer of 2024. Take it from a man with experience. I've been private security, private bodyguard, bounty hunter, private investigator, repo man, 25 years behind the walls, not to mention my 30-year pro wrestling managerial career and 40-year journey in that industry. So understand why you're watching this channel, what you're here for, and what you're going to learn. You come here to learn facts. So when you go back to your friends and family and work and the water cooler and the local pub and the local restaurant and the next venue and event that you're at, you have something to add to the conversation, because you came here not to get thoughts and views and opinions. You came here to learn something and to get facts. That's why I present these old school classics to you fans on my channel. It's important. It's stuff that you need to know. I apologize for all the voiceovers and commentary, but this is what I do on this channel. You know what to expect. Coming up on 3,000 videos, coming up on 400 episodes of Chaos Corner, the show. It's not just pro wrestling and sports entertainment. You come here for a reality check. Remember that. Let's get back to the Morton Downey Show and Bounty Hunters. Pay attention. The Flaming Caucasians Band.
From Atlantic City, Showboat, Flaming Caucasians, and some flaming Pablum pukers here too, all right? Let me introduce you at Loudmouth 1. Let's go through the whole cycle here. Let's go to a bail bondsman, all right? Paul Jacobs. Paul, how you doing, pal?
Fine, how are you, Mike?
For those that haven't been in jail...
I know Paul Jacobs personally, again, from the area here in the greater New England tri-state northeast area.
Arrested and bond is set on them. The first thing they want to do is be released. Now, they have one of three choices. Excuse me.
She got that all over your coat.
Shit, what did I tell you about sneezing on my coat? Now, what they have is one of three choices. They can either put up a cash bond in which they receive the entire amount back after their case is disposed of. They can put up a real estate bond where they pledge the equity in their property, which most of them don't have. And they can call a bail bondsman and pay him 10% and secure their release immediately.
So, if you got a guy who's up, you got a guy who wants out...
No, we never took anyone's house. Yeah, we can take a signature and put a lien on their house, and if they run, we can foreclose on it eventually.
So if a guy has $100,000...
No, I ain't never taken anyone's house.
Guy has a $100,000 bail, you put up $10,000, or you put up $90,000, he puts up $10,000.
I put up the whole $100,000, and I take the $10,000 as our fee.
Okay, the $10,000 becomes your fee. Now,
let me go to insurance company.
Let me go to John Ferry. Bail bondsmen like Paul, John, are not, of course, your favorite people. In fact, you have no respect whatsoever for bail bondsmen, do you?
I think they're legalized, justified loan sharks. And he got stated it right then and there. What's the difference?
No,
how would you like it? Just let him out with nothing, right?
No. If the guy can't make bail, let him sit in jail. You again don't
understand the law of the United
You
States.
guys are
The
under
law of the United
misconception. I'm not
States
against these
allows
guys. I'm
for
not against-
reasonable bail. Am I right?
That's correct. And you're presumed innocent until proven
Yeah,
guilty.
exactly.
Whether he kills Sky West-
Not in 2024 with this bullshit government.
I'm no loan shark, Martin. I'm regulated by the laws of the state of Connecticut, and I abide by those laws.
Let me ask you.
This man over here doesn't like anyone.
You're saying he hasn't got Hey, Perry, you're saying he hasn't got a right to make a living, but you could be Tom.
No, wait, why
Let me
does he
ask you
not?
something.
Why
How much
doesn't
do
he go
you
and get
charge an hour
Why
for
doesn't
your
he go and get
services? How much do you charge an hour for your services?
Why doesn't
Why
Lee
does he have any
Iacocca
freedom
drive a
right
test
I mean,
car for
really,
Christ?
you, my God. How much do you get an hour?
That's not the
You
issue. here.
remind me of my doctor. He's an
That's not the
Isaiah
issue
Nose
here.
wallet specialist.
Hey,
get
Stan,
that.
Stan, you've been doing this since 1955. Have you ever had to kill someone in an attempt to apprehend them? And what is the allure of the job? Number two, and finally, the most dangerous situation you ever put into.
Did I ever have to kill anybody? No comment on that.
All right?
Why not?
God bless them. Have you ever had to kill someone? No comment. What is the allure of the job?
The allure is, number one, money. Number two, getting these dirtbags off the street.
Everybody is worried about losing the house. I mean, about the guy, what do you call it, the fugitive, the criminal. Nobody's worried about the criminal's parents who put their home up. They might lose it. They don't want to take the house. Don't jump bail. They're never worried about the potential victims. When this guy jumps bail, he's on the street again, doing his thing again.
Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that?
Whose fault is
Right.
that?
This guy.
No, that's not my fault. The Constitution says that you're presumed innocent until proven guilty.
Justice system, not him. Don't ever get busted and have to be on bail. A big bail. Don't call him. And if you do jump bail, look for him and I. We'll do it for nothing. We'll pick him up for nothing.
Dr. D. Let me ask Stan first. Before I ask Dr. D the same question, what's the most dangerous situation you ever put in?
I've been in a lot of dangerous situations.
Anyone pull a gun on you?
Well, I've been shot, I've been stabbed, I've
Yeah,
been
anyone
slashed.
had someone pull a knife on you?
Yeah, I can't show where my wounds are because... but I've out of the helicopters, these Jamaican posses, everything related to drugs. I've had some really, really ticklish situations.
You know, speaking of drugs, our pal here, the ex-convict, all right, is working with kids and keeping them off drugs now, aren't you?
Yes, I'm working with the trouble with the system is they let the people out on bail and they're so drugged up, they'll go out in another corner an hour later and shoot up again, and they'll land up stabbing some innocent, and it happened in my hometown.
And let's remember, Gino, something very interesting. I'm sure our bail bondsman can attest to this. You got some, while we're talking about bounty hunters, PIs, bail bondsmen, ex-convicts, you got some lawyers in this country. The client gets picked up, all right? They want him out on bail. They put up the $10,000 bail. The client gets out. That lawyer has a $25,000 fee coming. He turns his back and looks the other way while that client goes out and raises the money, doesn't he? A lot of times. A lot of times. So the lawyers
I'll tell you what drugs
will
has
get
done.
them next.
I'll tell you what drugs done. It's breaking our nation, our family unity. Drugs is breaking the family unity.
All right, I tell you,
People
Gino,
don't start-
next we'll hunt down some opinions from the audience, man.
All right, fans, we're back to commercial break here again on The Bounty Hunters on Morton Downey. Classic, priceless, historical TV. Well, you will learn something here on this show from Guardian of Chaos, the YouTube channel. As I continue with my narrative here on this channel and what I present to you, not only the current product in pro wrestling from the WWE to AEW to Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, everything from pillar to post, coast to coast, and border to border, as I say. I also provide classic pro wrestling footage and talk shows like this as I said, you will come to learn something. I know every one of these men that are on this show. I've met them. I've worked for them. I know who they are. So this is why I'm showing this episode from the Vault of Chaos Chronicles. Again, I apologize for these commercials. They're an interruption. But what I want my fans out there to get from this is the laws of this country, of this state, of where you live, to do your due diligence, to do your research, and to find out what your rights are and if they're being violated. They're constantly sneaking things through the laws, especially here in the former Constitution state in the shadows of Titan Towers. That's why this is relatable. From Dr. D to Paul Jacobs to Gino, the convicted killer. So that's what I want you guys to take from this, to learn something. And I keep repeating myself because that's what I do on this channel, so it sinks in. And I've already said this, and I say it every show, and I'm going to say it again. In order to get respect, you have to start with respecting yourself. Once you do that, you open other people's minds to respecting you. Remember that. Because if he's for us, no one else can be against us. And that's a shout out to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, because he's coming back soon. Don't be caught dead without him. This is the reality of the messages you get here on my channel. And I will continue to do this. You don't have to like this video or watch this video. You can leave a dumbass comment if you want in the comment section. I don't get offended. I'm not worried about that. I just want to present the evidence from the past and make it relevant to the present. As I always said, the rear view mirror is smaller for a reason, but you respect it, because without it, you will not get to where you are or where you want to go. That's why the windshield is much bigger than the rear view mirror. Full speed ahead. Sit back and relax. We're going to wrap it up here on The Bounty Hunters with the GOC. That's me. Don't you dare miss it. And much love and respect to all of you that stay here to watch these episodes. I really do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart, in all sincerity. So I hope you're listening. Let's turn the volume back up on the loudest man in the entertainment industry. Rest in peace, Morton Downey.
I want to remind some of you, and take a look at it, Mr. Ferry, there'll be a movie out pretty soon on the dock here. It's called Doc's Law. Let me go to the audience here, see what you guys have to say, you ladies.
The audience, the brain of a dehydrated BB.
Making money to go out there and capture criminals. I mean, if they have out there and get violent criminals like that, let them make every dollar they can get.
How much money do you make, incidentally? Well, what's your average split?
20% of the bail.
20% of the total bail.
Bottom line, 20. It depends on the length of time, the nature of the crime. That's how I judge my fees on, and I get them.
Okay, dude.
Did you make everything you can get for it, too?
Well, I don't think that criminals should get bail at all, but as long as they're getting it and they're jumping it, they're free to go on a crime spree as long as they're out there. So I think we should thank God for people like that.
Mr. Gandhi, what's your point, Mr. Gandhi? These guys are legit, right? Who are you talking about? We're the sleazeballs. They're getting out of jail and going down the street with guns and blah, blah, blah. Who are these people? You know them? You know them? Do you know who these people are? You know who these people are?
Hey, look, let's stop right now. Listen. You ask a question, you want an answer. You want an answer. You want an answer. We're not justifying the sleazeballs, as you call them. We're talking about the other side of the fence. We're talking about accountability, and that's the one word I'm going to come back to time and time again. If you want to have vigilantes running over the country, that's your problem. But the Constitution of the United States need not be raped by anybody. Need not be raped by anybody.
Beats the hell out of being raped by one of the guys he let out and run.
You don't have a clue, bud.
I just have a question for Mr. Rifkin. Do you carry a firearm? Do you carry a firearm?
Who, me? Yes, I do.
Mr. Rifkin, you too?
Most of the time I don't.
Yes, I am.
Are you
I said
licensed?
most of the time,
Are you
I
licensed?
don't.
Are you licensed to carry like in all 50 states,
Sure.
or you have to get?
No, there's no such thing as federal license.
Be quiet, huh? Listen, I got a question.
The laws have changed. Do your due diligence, fans.
There's no such thing.
When it comes to carrying a weapon across state lines, do your due diligence.
If you want to carry a weapon in another state, you have to apply for a license in that state.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a federal license to carry in every state. There's no such
Okay.
thing.
Now,
Does that
I-
answer?
No, I know it's pretty hard to get a permit in New York City. Does just being a bounty hunter give you the? No.
It does not.
They'll knock you down on a license.
Pal.
If anything, they'll.
You think?
Let me hear you, pal. Let me hear you.
All right, here we go.
Let me hear you.
I just want to make a few comments. Sir, do you carry a gun? Yes. Yeah, put it to your head and shoot yourself.
And this guy right here is a gentleman coming up, the large white guy in the white shirt who I used to bounce with from coast to coast, who ended up becoming a bounty hunter himself, and his name is Michael. He'll be up next in the white shirt, large blonde guy.
You know what I mean?
Right here.
Say somebody raped your mother, okay? And they got out on bond, okay? They jumped it, okay? Now, I mean, you know, say they hurt it bad, okay? Then they send one of these guys out to get him. Are you against that? I go against it. No, wait. No. But not every Shut up. No. All right. You got a gun, right? You go after the guy. You're going to go after, you're going to hurt him, or you're going to just say, grab him? What are you going to do?
He wouldn't go after him.
That's right. He would. Let me clarify something.
He wouldn't go after him for not getting paid unless he caught him. He wouldn't go after him.
Let me clarify.
And even if he got paid, I don't think
Barry,
he'd go
step
after him.
into the mic. Step into the mic. Step into the mic.
Yeah, of course.
Step in close to the guy.
It's illegal. It's not. If it was illegal, they wouldn't be doing it, would they? These guys don't go by the book. They don't. What do you mean we don't go by the book? What do you mean?
Did you ever hear of monkey? Now, if you had a gun to your head, would you go by the
You
book?
don't know what the hell you're talking about.
How many times have you put a gun to the head of a person you're bringing in?
It doesn't matter. How many times?
It does matter.
Hold the gun pulled on them. What do you want them to do?
What do you think we are, running around with guns, putting it into people's heads?
They got a permit.
Most of my
They got a permit too. Yeah, but somebody's pulling a gun. You don't want them to pull a gun if somebody's pulling one on
But that's
them?
not the question you asked me.
Most of my pickups are peaceful. Most of my pickups are peaceful surrenders. I get them in the crib when they don't expect it.
Okay, but
before
what do you
they know
ask
it, they're gift wrapped. They're on the way.
Okay,
Let me go this, pal. Let me go this. Let's keep this with the audience. Go ahead, pal.
First of all, I think 20% of the fee is nothing to keep the slime buckets out of our streets and our streets safe. And I especially I want to commend you guys who are doing the job, and not people like him who just sit behind a desk at times and try to do it by mouth and not by getting out there.
Probably his biggest cases are looking into a window while some guy, some chick that wants to get out.
All right, guys and gals, it's the GOC. I'm back here live to tape from Chaos Corner, the vault of Chaos Chronicles, for Bounty Hunters on the Morton Downey Jr. show. Again, relevant to this channel, seeing that I worked with Dr. D. David Schultz, personally know Paul Jacobs, and of course one of the Paradise 4, Big Dave Paradise, a.k.a. Big Steve Tracy, was also under the guidance of Dr. D. David Schultz as a bail enforcement agent, and then went on to own his own company, the Big Steve Bail Bonds Company, and also Diadamo and Tracy Bail Bonds. And as I said, the large Caucasian honky gentleman with the white shirt and the blonde hair that was just arguing with the PI was a close personal friend of mine. Like I said, we bounced all the way up and down the East Coast, and then Mike became a bounty hunter himself at one point. Remember, we are in the time machine. We're going back 3 decades here on this show, and it's relevant to this channel. It's relevant to my former career. It's relevant to you, the fans, if you're a subscriber here. So I can't thank you guys enough for bearing with me through these old-time commercials. Look at that, $1.79 for a half gallon. What is it now, like $8? Where do you see anything for 99 cents anymore? As we look back in the time machine here, even on the commercials, you can see how much life has changed. Pay attention to what's going on here in 2024 and what's coming this summer, if I can put this message out about the crime, the protests, the violence, the weather, the environment, the invasion, the wars. Stay mentally, emotionally, physically, and especially spiritually fit. Be righteous. Have wisdom. Repent. I'm telling you guys this. I know I put out a lot of chicanery. There's a lot of laughter. We talk about pro wrestling and sports entertainment. But I'm here for reality on certain shows as well. So, again, I'm going to say this. I'm going to keep repeating this because the show is an hour long. We're about ready to wrap it up. Listen to what I say. Okay? I'm 60 years old. I've been through it all. I've seen it all. I've done it all. I don't know everything. I don't know anything at times. But what I do know, I try to relay to you guys out of life experience. A lot of my subscribers, my biggest demographic is between the ages of 25 to 40. So just keep that in mind here. And we're about ready to wrap this up. Thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate you being here. We're about ready to wrap this up. The Bounty Hunters. I was just with Dr. D. David Schultz this past summer. Go out and get his book. Don't Call Me Fake. It's an unbelievable read. Dr. D. David Schultz. Don't Call Me Fake.
Okay, pal, while we got the time, you grab the mic.
Okay, I just want to say that, first of all, I know that Dr. D is a licensed private investigation in Connecticut, state of Connecticut.
Also a PI, Doc, right?
Yes, I am.
So you're in the same business, old...
But I don't do what he does.
All related to my background as well, fans.
Second of all, I want to say that I worked with him on a professional level, and he's very professional at his job. And what he does.
I also know this gentleman speaking right now as well. All from our area here in the shadows of Titan Towers.
I just want to say, I see drugs every day, and I think they should all be put behind bars. And I think what these people are doing is very brave, because some of these people are not just fooling around, and these people should be out on the streets putting drug dealers away.
A lot of geeks in the audience.
The Seattle Seahawks who flop every year. Come on, Seattle.
I'm a police officer in New Jersey. One of the reasons why you need guys like this is because the cops' hands are tied because of what they call prosecutorial guidelines.
That's right.
The prosecutor comes out and makes rules that you can't shoot at a car if the guy's shooting at you if that car is moving. Well, these guys can do it. You can't chase speeding cars. You find a guy on a warrant. And
This officer is correct.
He jumps into a speeding car and takes off. You can't speed after him because if you're going to put somebody else in danger, these guys, I'm sure, would go right after him. That and
Let me tell you something.
Law enforcement has their hands tied here in 2024, and it's only going to get worse, fans. Be prepared.
Shot full of Swiss cheese. Let me hear from this gentleman. Go ahead, pal.
Okay, I just like to say one thing. You got these people who commit crimes like rapes, murder. They get really good lawyers. They go out free. I say an eye for an eye, because some smart-ass lawyer is going to set them free. What about someone's wife who gets killed? What's the husband? Oh, they're out free because some good lawyer did it? Kill them. Kill a slob. Can't do that. Can't do that.
Now, let's not get crazy. Obviously, this guy's a mouth breather and neck beard.
We get some rough sacks.
Mort, I just wanted to say that if like somebody I knew was raped, I'd rather have Dr. D chasing the guy down than Jerry Garcia's grandpa over here. That's right.
As far as I'm concerned, these bounty hunters are the only option when criminal scum can walk down the street and brag.
She's right, and the laws have changed. They virtually eliminated bail bondsmen, bounty hunters.
And that the police aren't even looking for them. They can commit crime after crime after crime before somebody finds them. And as for the fact that this guy's saying anybody can go out after him, a bad bounty hunter is a dead bounty hunter, and it's the good ones who should go after these guys.
Amen, and testify, sister. There's the whole truth.
like just to say that if the police, from our tax dollars, can't go out and do the job, and it takes men with guts and courage to go out and bring the scum off the street.
No, you're wrong. They got courage and they got guts and they wouldn't wear ties and they wouldn't have a gun.
Right.
It's these people like this and like that.
That's right. I'm behind the wrong way. That's right.
Don't say the law enforcement scum. Don't say
I didn't say they're scum. I said if our tax dollars can't get the job done, then you should do it. Then you should do it.
You hear my point of view. You're out there every day, buddy. And if everybody's over lay down their gun today, you'd be the first one crying for protection.
They can't do
Seems
it
to
with
me
our
it's
tax
pretty damn
dollars.
unanimous, doesn't it? We have. All right. While the argument continues to go on, bounty hunters are the last of the dying breed, Daves, all right? They're not only tough enough to go after the dangerous dregs of society who seep through the hands of justice, but here I got a proposal. If a bounty hunter catches them and the police turn them loose again, let the bounty hunter pick them up, stuff them, and hang them over the fireplace, all right? Tomorrow night, a show on gambling. We're right here at the Showboat in Atlantic City.
All right, fans. Thanks for being here. I hope you appreciate it, and I hope you learned something. Come on back, and don't you dare miss it.